first-person account. I'm sitting at my computer, on the internet, chatting with a girl. We've been talking for a long time, and I decided to come visit her. She lives in another city. I thought my vacation was coming soon, but in the meantime I'll save up some money for the trip. She was happy about it. They talked about it all night on the flight. They finally gave me a vacation. At the station, there were no direct flights to her city. They said you can get to Barnaul, and there you can take another train, with a transfer in general. I got to Barnaul, went to the cash register, realized that the money was either stolen or lost. I had 150 rubles in my other pockets, but I didn't have enough money. I had already driven most of the way, there wasn't much left, so I decided to hitchhike. My stomach was crying out for food. I went to the store and bought a loaf of bread, a canned chop and water. I think I'll chew on the way. I walked for a long time. No one stopped. It was getting dark outside, and I realized that if no one slowed down during the day, they wouldn't stop in the evening. I decided to go to the side of the road, have a snack, walked away, sat down on a tree stump, had a bite. I see there is a path through the forest. For some reason I decided that this path would be closer than walking along the road, and I followed this path. I walked for a long time. I didn't know how long. The phone was dead, but it was already dark, about midnight, and the path was illuminated by a large full moon. After walking a little more, I came across some kind of big old fence. Whatever it was, I decided to walk along the fence, and finally found the gate. The gate was ajar. Without thinking, I went in there, looked around. It turned out to be a cemetery. It's large, and the graves look abandoned, at least very old. As a non-superstitious person, I was not afraid and decided to move on. My legs were very tired. I decided to sit down. There was nowhere to sit. Sat on the bag, had a small snack, lit a cigarette. About 30 meters away, I see some kind of silhouette in a long raincoat. At that moment I decided that it was either a watchman or a homeless man, but I decided to approach him to ask for directions, and if the watchman, then ask for an overnight stay. As I got closer, I heard that this stranger was speaking in some strange language, and it was not clear who he was talking to, so I froze. He apparently heard me coming, turned to me. He had a big hood on his head. I went up to him, said, "Excuse me, how do I get to the nearest settlement?" In response, he whispered something in an incomprehensible language. "Aren't you Russian?" I asked again, but in response he muttered something, and as I got closer to him, I saw that he had no eyes, but it felt like he could see me and was looking into my eyes. A chill ran through my body, and I decided to leave. "The blood of a mortal will be shed this night, pain and fear will be heard in the night," this stranger said in a hoarse voice. My heart started pounding with fear, and instead of running, I turned to him and asked, "What?" But in response, he abruptly stretched out his arms to me and grabbed my neck with long, dry fingers. Long sharp nails pierced my neck. I felt blood flowing under my collar. There was a loud noise in my ears. My eyes began to darken. He squeezed with such force that I couldn't scream in pain, but he couldn't do anything at all. I overcame my fear with difficulty, and as I was taught in self-defense lessons, I freed myself from the grip and knocked him down with a powerful blow to the jaw. I caught my breath a little bit, saw that he wasn't moving. I kicked him in the head, took off my hood, saw a hideous face without eyes with yellow sharp teeth. I just winced, got up, kicked him in the head again and left. I decided to run back to the road because I do not know what is ahead, but I know that road. But as soon as I took the bag, I saw this creature rising abruptly and walking towards me with quick steps. I quickly shouldered my bag and ran. After running about 60 meters, I turned around, but there was no one there. I stopped, looked around, no one. But suddenly a wild pain shot through his right leg. He clutched and screamed. He fired a bow or a crossbow. Barely able to contain the pain, I started screaming, "What do you want? Why are you following me?" I looked around, silence, no one there. Where are you, bitch? Come out and fight like a man. I pulled the arrow out of my leg and took it like a knife. I was ready to strike, but looking around, there was no one around. Are you playing with me, you bastard? Come out, you beast. Come out if you're a man. And he heard me. I felt a heavy blow to the back of my head, which temporarily knocked me unconscious. After a while, I woke up, and I felt him dragging me somewhere by the leg. I started to jerk my leg. I wanted to scream, but my mouth was tied. When I tried to remove the bandage, I realized that my mouth was not tied, but sewn with old thick threads. He turned around and said, "It's because you're yelling loudly," he said in a hoarse, scary voice and laughed. I lost consciousness again from fear, and woke up in a dark, damp place that looked like a basement. Looking around, I saw many corpses. Their mouths were sewn shut, cheeks, noses were cut off, eyes were gouged out, stomachs were cut open and all the insides were missing. Some of them had their heads cut off, but when I looked closely, I saw that the heads had not been cut off, but had been torn off. I was almost unable to move from fear and blood loss. This thing came up to me, cut off my cheeks and nose, tore off my ears. I realized this is the end. He threw the cheeks into some kind of pot, took a large knife and came up to me. And then I decided to resist, either me or me. I took something heavy and hit him, snatched a knife from his hands and stabbed him in the heart. After overcoming the pain, I ran outside, took off my t-shirt and wrapped it around my head to stop the bleeding. I wondered why he just let me take the knife away from him. And my fears were not in vain. He came out and held out his arms to me. I ran along the path, but where was I going? I don't know where he took me. And I felt a strong sharp pain in the shoulder area, and he shot me with an arrow again. I kept running without stopping. He caught up, grabbed my hair, and yanked so hard that he tore out a clump of hair and skin. I fell down. He leaned over me and took a bite out of my hand. I no longer felt pain. I was losing consciousness. He started lifting me up and throwing me in different directions, tearing off pieces of skin from my body. Why was I so fearless? Why did I decide to go through the forest? Why the fuck did I approach this freak? Why did I walk to another city at all? I already realized that the more I try to escape, the more I get hurt. He feeds on my pain, my fear. That's all. I haven't lived long. I don't have long left. Throwing me once again, I fell on something soft. It was my bag. Now I know where the exit is, but I couldn't run anymore. I didn't have the strength. I couldn't even scream in pain. The last thing I saw was a photo of Christina. That was the name of the girl I was heading to. He showed me this photo, and then ripped out his eyes. I was still conscious, and I could feel him tearing a piece out of me. Soon everything stopped. I died. I was buried in this very cemetery. Christina, not knowing what had happened to me, considered me a liar and a bastard. Kristinaka, don't talk about the dead like that.